The fighter jet era has passed.
10 years, it will be very unusual for cars to be built that are not fully autonomous.
You know, last century we had 2 massive world wars, 3 if you count the Cold War. I think it's unlikely that we will never have another world war again. There probably will be at some point.
Hopefully a small base on Mars or a small city on Mars in 20 years, yeah.
Transform Mars into an Earth-like planet. The fast way is drop thermonuclear weapons over the poles.
Self-driving will encompass essentially all modes of driving and be at least 100 to 200% safer than a person by the end of next year.
Getting in a car will be like getting in an elevator. You just tell it where you want to go, and it takes you there with extreme levels of safety, and that'll be normal.
I think most likely the form of government on Mars would be somewhat of a direct democracy, where you vote on issues, where people vote directly on issues, instead of going through representative government.
The big change is the cost of computing power, not so much the sort of circuit density, sort of the Moore's law thing. So I think we'll see massively parallel computers and computing power and storage being, you know, really as much as you want.
Bitcoin by itself simply cannot scale to be the monetary system for the world at base layer. But with a second layer, this is possible depending upon how that second layer is implemented.
I mean, if there are super intelligent aliens out there, they're probably already observing us. That would seem quite likely, and we just are not smart enough to realize it.
It's ubiquitous computing everywhere. I think AI is going to be incredibly sophisticated in 20 years.
When does it first wake up?
It seems to be accelerating, and the tricky thing about predicting things when there's an exponential is that an exponential looks linear close up.
Nobody expected that rate of improvement. If you ask those same experts who think AI is not progressing at the rate that I'm saying, I think you will find that their predictions for things like Go and other AI advancements have their batting average is quite weak.
I think we'll see autonomy and artificial intelligence advance tremendously. I think that's actually quite near term.
It's probably better for there to be a prosperous Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, maybe some others in the future.
More carbon in the atmosphere is actually good, but up to a point. So we might actually arguably have been a little carbon starved. If you go back 200 years ago and say, okay, a few hundred years ago, we had like 280, 290 parts per million of carbon. We're probably a little carbon starved. Now we're about 400, just past the 400 mark. I think somewhere in the 400s, probably okay. We don't have to worry about sequestering carbon or anything like that. But now, if this momentum keeps going, and we start going up to 600, 800, 1,000, 1,500, that's where things get really squirrely. The sheer momentum of the world's energy infrastructure is leading us in that direction.
Digital superintelligence will be like an alien.
I'm not sure if I fully answer your question. So in terms of what I think 2025.
Oh yeah, please.
So for sure, ubiquitous computing, AI that's beyond anything like the public appreciates today. I think we'll have most of the new vehicles being produced being electric, and we'll probably have a supermajority of energy being produced being sustainable. So I think we're headed
solar primarily in your mind?
Primarily solar, yeah.
Preparing for missions to nearby star systems. I think all of this is possible within 50 years.